Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on whether or not I think Negan will turn Daryl into a villain. You don't scare easy. This one will contain some minor spoilers for the Walking Dead comic book series. If you guys don't want to know anything about the future of the Walking Dead and possible story arcs for both Dwight and or Daryl, then you may not want to watch this one. Without giving too much away, we've got some really interesting stuff happening in the near future for either Daryl or Dwight with regards to Negan, the Saviors, and our survivors. Now the question becomes, who will fill the role of Dwight from the Walking Dead comic book series? As we've discussed many times over the last few years, I still feel, even to this day, that you cannot really have both Daryl and Dwight coexist in the Walking Dead TV series. I really feel like one out of the two of them has to kind of fill that role and become the comic book series version of Dwight. I also take into consideration and think that more recently, be it the last maybe year, 2 years or so in the Walking Dead comic book series, Dwight's behavior as a character has become more similar to Daryl's. And with Daryl becoming, of course, a huge fan favorite, I really can't see AMC, The Walking Dead, choosing to keep Dwight, Austin Emilio's character in the TV series, alive versus Daryl if they have to choose one of them. And not only that, but I also think that emotionally, in terms of us as viewers, we would relate way better to seeing Daryl go down kind of a darker path as a result of Negan's command and influence. We have, for example, a part from the Walking Dead comic book series during All Out War Part 2, which will probably be translated sometime into the Walking Dead Season 8 or possibly the Walking Dead Season 9 TV series, where Negan and Rick are kind of fighting it out. You've got some skirmishes going on as part of the war, and it comes down to a part where Dwight has to choose what to do when Negan gives him, as his number 2, an order to shoot Rick with the crossbow. This is a pretty exciting sequence from the Walking Dead comic book series because prior to this, Negan has had all of the Saviors douse their weapons, be it bolts or knives or any weapons they have, in zombie guts and zombie blood going into the battle. So Dwight's arrows, or bolts, so to speak, have been doused in zombie blood and not cleaned. So the idea that Negan had is that during the war, when they're fighting back and forth, they will basically pass on whatever's in the blood from the zombies on their weapons to the opposing team, which is our survivors. Comes down to a part where Negan forces Dwight to shoot Rick with a bolt. This puts Dwight in an interesting situation as a reader because we're not sure what he's going to do. We don't know whose side he's really on here. Who is he loyal to? We know that he's been involved with helping out the joint communities try to fight back against Negan because he himself is not 100% loyal to Negan because of Negan, burning his face with the iron and taking his girl and doing a lot of these things we're starting to see in the Walking Dead TV series right now. So what does he decide to do? He actually does listen to Negan, and he does shoot Rick with one of the infected bolts. This is one of the peak moments for the Walking Dead comic book series with All Out War Part 2. Now, if I have to compare that to the TV series and who they would use for that part, do I think it makes sense emotionally to keep Dwight and have him be the character that they go ahead and use to make this decision and shoot Rick if they translate it directly, or even if they translate it to a different character? Do I think it makes more sense emotionally from a storytelling perspective to have Dwight be the character to shoot Rick? Or would it be more emotionally impactful if it was Daryl who had been sort of tortured, who had been hurt by Negan, as we'll probably see tonight in The Cell, Episode 3, Season 7, and kind of programmed by Negan and kind of brainwashed by him? Would that be a more exciting sequence if that was Daryl who had to make that decision and show us as the viewer whose side he's on. Is he on Negan's side with the Saviors after all this torture and brainwashing? Is he still able to remember his brother Rick and not hurt him and not fire? Or is his fear and brainwashing of Negan strong enough to force him to pull that trigger and shoot Rick with the bolt? If they're going to translate this crucial moment from the Walking Dead comic book series to the TV series version, I can't help but say emotionally this would be way more effective if you were to use Daryl for this sequence instead of Dwight. As a result, I think it makes sense in the next couple years, especially this season and probably season 8, that we will see Negan try to break Daryl in and them to put Daryl on this story arc where he goes down kind of a darker path and potentially becomes one of the Saviors, at least for a while, bringing up some interesting things in the conclusion of All Out War in season 8 or season 9 of whose side is he really on after all this is said and done. We'll see what direction they go with ultimately in the Walking Dead TV series. However, I can't help but think, man, these future upcoming events in All Out War would be crazy emotional and crazy cool to see if they were to use Daryl, a sort of brainwashed savior Daryl, to play out these sequences. It just sounds too good to me as an option for the writing team to pass up. So we'll see what happens, but I can't help but think that Daryl's got to get his revenge on Dwight. How is he going to do it? What's going to happen? Maybe Negan will give him a chance, and Daryl will be able to defeat Dwight, possibly kill him, and maybe take on his role as a member of the Saviors, go down a darker path, and to answer the question simply, yes, I do believe in the next couple of seasons we will see Daryl become a major villain. That's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please don't forget to thumb it up below. Please like it. If you got a Facebook you want to share through, you want to let your friends know, hey, Trev thinks Daryl's going to become a villain, share it through at the bottom left. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, you want to hear more insight for future Walking Dead events coming up, you definitely want to subscribe, bottom left for that. That's it for this video. See you guys again soon. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.